Saints head coach Dennis Allen talks about why they brought in Jon Gruden to help out Derek Carr. This story came out of absolutely nowhere in the past week, and I have been excited to talk about it. So if you don't know, training camp is right now. OTAs are right now for the Saints in Metairie. All of a sudden, Jon Gruden shows up. Jon Gruden, former Raiders coach, former Buccaneers coach, now out of the NFL after an email scandal, was brought in. Now, the way they were phrased it, at least on Twitter, was that he was brought in to help install the offense, to help Derek Carr transition to the offense. Okay? Now, as far as I know, and we will find out more in this video, I hope, Gruden is not signed to the Saints. Gruden is not on contract. Gruden will not be on the sidelines during the season. Gruden is not a coach on the Saints staff. I think people have that mixed up unless something has happened that I don't know about. But he's basically a consultant brought in a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to help out Carr with this offensive situation. I think that's it. I don't think he's a coordinator. I don't think he's a specialist. I don't think he's any of that stuff. Because I've seen a lot of people talk about, we're excited to have Jon Gruden here for the season, as far as the fans. But I don't think that's the case. Now, before we listen to Dennis, I don't care at all about Jon Gruden's email scandal, whatever. Okay, a lot of people are saying, morally, should you bring him in? Who cares? I certainly do not, all right? So let's get that aside. Could care less about the actual, scandal with him a few years ago. The whole reason he left the Raiders. Don't care. As far as installing the offense, I think this is interesting because if he is installing the offense, what is Pete Carmichael doing? What is our actual offensive coordinator doing? If you're bringing in Jon Gruden, who I would assume has very strong philosophical beliefs about football. This is a guy who has seen success at the highest level as a head coach. This is a guy, should he have got the contract he got with the Raiders? Probably not. But you can't deny what the guy did in Tampa Bay, at least for one season. I would assume Jon Gruden's coming in with Jon Gruden's thoughts. I would assume that Jon Gruden is coming in and he's going to teach it the way that Jon Gruden wants to teach it. I don't think Jon Gruden's coming in and taking a back seat to Pete Carmichael. Dennis Allen, as we know, is a defensive coach, so he's not involved as far as installing the offense at that level. So if Gruden is there, someone who's not even on your coaching staff, I understand his ties to Derek Carr, but someone who's not even on your coaching staff, you bring him in to install the offense or help Carr pick up the offense. To me, if you're doing that, what is Pete Carmichael doing? Let's listen to Dennis before I continue to wax poetic.
The collaboration with Jon Gruden come about? Kind of what was his role when he was here?
Yeah, look, number one, we've had several coaches come and visit. Obviously, Jon's a guy that has a lot of experience with Derek.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly. If you told me Jon Gruden came to visit, he's got a relationship with Derek Carr, he came in to see how things were, whatever, I'm sure him and Dennis Allen have a relationship, totally makes sense. That probably happens all the time where coaches and former players or whatever come in. It's different, though, when it's phrased that he's visiting is one thing, but then assisting with the offense, implementing the offense, installing the offense, that kind of verbiage is very different. If Drew Brees visited OTAs, would anyone be surprised? No. But if I heard that Drew Brees was helping to install the offense, I'd be like, okay, well, this is all of a sudden a very different story.
And Derek's had his most success under Jon Gruden, and so we felt like bringing him in, having a chance to sit down and visit with him as an offensive staff, with the quarterbacks, and just get some new thoughts and ideas, things that we might be able to implement. I would say this. I would say, offensively for a long time that I've been here, we've been pretty effective offensively, and so.
Pretty effective or defective? Let's see what he said again. I'm not sure what he said.
Effective offensively. And we've been pretty effective offensively.
I have no idea what he said. Do y'all think he said effective or defective? Because y'all know what I think, but I don't know what let's see.
And so I don't see us putting in a whole new offense or doing something dramatic, but
Okay, so he said effective. Okay. It's crazy because I'm getting multiple different stories here. I like what Dennis is saying. I like this idea of like, look, let's bring in Jon Gruden. He had a lot of success with this quarterback. Let's let our staff pick his brain. Let's have a conversation with him. Let's let our coordinators and our coaches figure out from Gruden how to make Derek Carr the most successful. I think that is a brilliant idea. I think that's one of those things where it almost makes too much sense. It almost makes too much sense for the Saints to do that. Why wouldn't you go do that? So if that is what happened, and I have no reason to call Dennis Allen a liar. If that is what happened, I love the move. If you're going to make a huge investment in Derek Carr like that, turn over every stone that you possibly can to make him successful. And if one of those stones is to bring in Jon Gruden to come have a couple days visiting practice and talking to the staff, that is totally cool with me. I love it. This makes me very hopeful for our coaching staff because nothing to do with Gruden. But we've talked about on this channel for the last couple of weeks that the coaching staff has to try new things because what they did last year did not work, especially since they're bringing in Derek Carr, right? This is, to me, it shows an effort to try new things. It shows an effort we're going to kind of think out of the box here. We're not afraid to take chances. We're not afraid to do things to give us a new perspective. I love that from these guys.
If there's a few ideas that we could take from that, we felt like that would be beneficial.
Are you worried at all about any backlash associated with bringing him in with the team or with the?
So the reporter asked if Allen's worried about any backlash. So it's just such a ridiculous question. It's just it makes me sick. It's just the world we live in right now or whatever. But the first question out of this reporter's mouth should be about converting third downs. The first question out of this reporter's mouth should be, scoring more points than the other team. The first question out of their mouth should be about Derek Carr and the offense. It shouldn't be about something like this. If this is
No, look, I think you ask everybody that was involved, thought it was really beneficial for our football team. And look, we're gonna look at any avenue that we can to try to improve. And so that was one area that we thought just bringing him in and having an opportunity to sit down and visit with him would help us.
Okay, so Allen kind of cleared stuff up for us there. Allen cleared up pretty much Gruden's role, which at the beginning of the video we kind of had in question, and why they did it. And this sounds like it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, it is different than how I heard it. It is different than what was first reported. What was first reported was like Gruden was coming in and basically mapping out this plan, this philosophy or whatever. And that seems like it's not the case. It seems like Strictly was there for some counsel. Strictly was there to offer a little bit of knowledge. Strictly was there to kind of share some stuff, have a little visit, talk to Derek Carr, and that's about it. So I think this is one of those things that it's the middle, or when this happened, it was the end of May. People are looking for stories. People are looking for clicks. People are looking for reports. And it sounds like this is something that got blown out of proportion. It sounds like something that, is not a huge deal at all. Now, here's the question. And let me know in the comments below, guys. And y'all have already let me know in the comments below in a few previous videos. Do you think the Saints should look at bringing in Jon Gruden on like a long-term situation? Should he be there for the entire season? Should he be kind of how Bruce Arians was for the Buccaneers, where he's what I think a consultant, I think is what they called Bruce Arians. Should Gruden be involved? Would you like to see Gruden kind of jump in there, or is it like, he's kind of a dinosaur? He's kind of an older guy. Like, why bring him in? Why do that? Especially if you already have your coordinators. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I think that would be kind of interesting as far as like, do you bring someone like that in? and risk kind of multiple views or multiple philosophies within the coaching staff. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you very much for almost had a stroke there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.